Whereas huge Keir Starmer chosen to require the day off and not appear his confront at PMQs. He cleared out a stuttering Angela Rayner to reply the difficult questions following the farmer's challenge in today's video. We are going to be looking at film of her getting broiled as Labour. Called out for screwing over ranchers' fare, okay, heads up. Her reply is classic Labour. Sometime recently, we get into the film, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and connect our quick developing community. So have a observe.
100 million on farming budgets. The farmers know they ruined it for them, and that's why we're in government and they're not.
Well, perhaps the right honourable lady thinks that everyone came to London yesterday to thank the government. Let's look at the facts. A typical mid-sized 360-acre family farm in the constituency of my right honourable friend for Thirsk and Moulton. They've spoken to their accountant. Their new liability because of this government is £500,000. That's 12 years' worth of profit. When this generation passes away, that farm will become totally unviable, and it's just one of thousands and thousands of similar farms. It's clear the government hasn't got its facts right. The Central Association for Agricultural Valuers, the real experts in this field, say so. The NFU says so. They're shortly to publish a report showing that 75% of all commercial farms will fall above the threshold. If the government isn't going to reverse this terrible policy, will the right honourable lady at least commit that there will be no further increases to inheritance tax and no further reductions to agricultural property relief or business property relief in this Parliament?
Well, Mr. Speaker, he talks about the facts, and I absolutely stand by the figures the government has set out. And the vast majority of estate owners will be totally unaffected. He wants to talk about the figures, Mr. Speaker. I will be crystal clear. The vast majority of estate owners will see no change and pay no tax on land passed on valued at £1 million. Couples can pass on £3 million, Mr. Speaker, tax-free, and those above the thresholds will pay only half the normal rate and can pay over 10 years interest-free.
This is just another part of the budget that's unravelling, Mr. Speaker. Everyone here and all the farmers at home will have heard there was no guarantee there. We know what that means. They're coming back for more. And even if the honourable lady had made a promise today, it wouldn't have been worth a fig. We know that the Environment Secretary, before the election, promised the farmers this wouldn't happen. Labour promises get broken. Let's put all of this into context. The Treasury says the family farms tax will raise, on average, £441 million a year. The Treasury also says that the public sector pay rises the government announced in July will cost £9.4 billion a year. That's over 21 times as much. Why does the government think that above-inflation pay rises for the trade unions are worth so...
Order! Now then, I don't need any more from the second bench. Can I just say, please, less of it. We've had a bit of a run-in recently and I don't need to have any more. Right. Deputy Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think it's an audacity for the honourable gentleman to stand there and suggest in some way that Labour broke promises or raised taxes. When I'll school the honourable gentleman, it was his government that raised taxes to the highest level for a generation. It was his government that crashed the economy, that saw inflation rise to 1.1% and grow flatline. It was his government that spent the reserves 3 times over. I'll take no lessons from the honourable gentleman.
Alex Burkhardt.
I understand why the right honourable lady doesn't want to answer questions about the terrible choices the government have made. It's because the truth is ugly. The truth is that this is a punishment meted out to people who don't vote Labour. It's the same punishment meted out to parents who send their children to private schools. It's the same punishment meted out to the owners of small businesses terrified about national insurance contributions, and it's the same punishment meted out to pensioners who can't afford to pay their fuel this winter. Isn't it the truth, Mr. Speaker, that if you don't vote Labour, they don't care about you?
As continuously same ancient Labour screwing individuals over and not replying questions. What were your considerations on this? Let me know within the comments. In a few other news, Shadow Domestic Secretary Chris Philp has blamed work of tricking its MPS into voting for winter fuel remittance. Cuts after government modelling revealed 100,000 retired people can be pushed into destitution. Talking in Meet Philp called the circumstance appalling and claimed Labour purposely concealed the office for work and benefits impact assessment during the later parliamentary vote. When we voted on this a number of weeks back, they purposely did not distribute that effect evaluation. They covered up it from Parliament and stowed away it from their MPS. Philp said he cautioned. The circumstance was getting to be a triple whammy for retired people, citing rising expansion nearby. The benefits cut, the DWP modelling appears that confining the winter fuel installment will lead to an assessed 50,000 more retired people falling into relative destitution after lodging costs following year. This figure is anticipated to rise to 100,000 extra retired people in destitution. By 2026 to 2027, the winter fuel installment worth up to £300 is being constrained to, as it were, those claiming annuity credit from this winter, pointing to spare £1.5 billion yearly. The government's examination demonstrates comparable designs through to 20,130 with the number of extra retired people in destitution, fluctuating between 50,000 and 100,000 each year. The figures are adjusted to the closest 50,000 individuals due to modelling instabilities, work and benefits. Secretary Liz Kendall guarded the approach, expressing the government was constrained to require difficult decisions to adjust the books due to a £22 billion budgetary shortage. She emphasized that the modelling doesn't account for measures to extend benefits. Credit take-up, which has risen by 152%. Since July, a government representative highlighted extra bolster measures, counting the 150 warm domestic rebate and cold weather payments they included, that millions of retired people will advantage from a state benefits increment of up to £470 in April. The modelling figures ought to be taken under consideration when deciphering the comes about. Kendall cautioned in her letter to MPS, the winter fuel installment changes. Check a noteworthy move from the past. All-inclusive framework that given installments to all retired people. The Scottish Labour Party has outstandingly broken positions with the UK-wide party position, declaring it would campaign for full winter fuel installments in its 2026 Hollywood campaign. Magnanimous Democrat Treasury Representative Daisy Cooper criticized the cut, saying, "Cutting this remittance will drive more helpless, more seasoned individuals into destitution, constraining them to select between warming and eating right now, as it were." 63% of those qualified claim annuity credit, meaning numerous poorer retired people might miss out on the installment. What are your considerations on what we talked about in today's video? Let me know down within the comments segment underneath, on the off chance that you've not. However, as of now, make beyond any doubt you are doing. Drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British political substance.
Terms, Angela Rayner has
Beware,
gone from 0 to 60
farewell.
in next